more scary fast speculation, the right to repair, and a genetic information hack. This is MacVoices. Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter that keeps you up with everything MacVoices is doing. From our published episodes to Chuck's other appearances to special events and more, subscribe at macvoices.com/newsletter and stay fully informed so you don't miss a thing. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. This MacVoices live panel couldn't help but continue to speculate on what we might see coming out of Apple's Scary Fast event on Monday. Then we take a look at a big step in the change in Apple's right to repair policy, and we start a heated discussion about a hack of some very personal information. Let's go back and let the panel do the talking. I just, thank you. It points so much to a consumer machine. I still feel, and look, maybe Wicked Fast could still apply to an iMac.
Scary Fast,
excuse me.
Oh.
You and your East Coasters, Wicked Fast.
Yeah. Put an M3, Wicked. Put an M2 in, or put one of the mid-level to upper-level M2s in, and it will be scary fast to a home consumer or a small office consumer or whatever. So, I mean, maybe we're over. The only thing, I know, I got my point back. The only thing I will remind everyone about was that the first M1s were not introduced in one of the bigger machines. They were introduced. Was it? I'm pretty sure in an Air. Was it the Air or just?
It was three machines. It was the Air, Mini. 13, and Mini, all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So who knows? We're going to move on from this just because we're all speculating because we like to do it. And by the time this goes out, no, probably not. I'm going to try to get this one out faster. But by the time we reconvene next week, we will all have the answers, and then we'll be debating those.
I'll tell you all about my brand new M3 Mac Mini.
I can't wait.
Thank you. You know what, that is one other thing that I wanted to mention, that if it is any kind of consumer level machine, it's going to have to be available pretty darn quick, or it's going to kill holiday sales.
Yep. And the Mac Mini lends itself to that very well.
True. Hey, a couple of social media notes that I think are just worth talking about. Pebble, which was T2, but Pebble announced today that they're shutting down. And, I mean, they had a really interesting conversation with the CEO, who basically said there's just too much competition out there. I just feel like maybe they claimed that T2 was never supposed to be the final name, and that when they could get the pebble.is domain, that's when they decided to change it to Pebble Is. So it would be Pebble Is Jeff Gamet, Pebble Is Chuck Joyner, Pebble Is Ben Rathig. And the article I just threw in the show notes and into the chat give an exact explanation of that. And when I read that explanation, I thought, you know what? I think the marketing department was on something when they came up with this one.
Yeah.
So
I'm wondering, how could they have not anticipated that basically a month after doing a rebranding, they would be shutting down? Why even bother with rebranding as Pebble at that point? Because it's not like that was going to suddenly goose the business and start bringing in the revenue.
Yeah, I mean,
they have to bring in the revenue.
Left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing.
Just had to bring in investors.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they take the money and they run.
Well, their rate of expansion was so slow. I mean, because they did not. They were restricting invitations, even more so than Blue Sky. You had a hard time getting on. Then once you were there, the user base was pathetically small. And listen, it was not a bad service. I mean, each one of these Twitter clones or Twitter replacements or whatever have little annoyances of one kind or another, but for the most part, they kind of look and act the same. But I just feel like they completely lost any branding they had when they rebranded, and the only people that seemed to know that they rebranded were the existing users. Everybody else was kind of clueless.
Yeah. Plus they never bothered to put out an app.
Right.
That's a good point, Ben. So just something to note, that if you were following any of us on Pebble, you're going to have to find us somewhere else. So sorry about that.
Well, to be fair, the downloads that people are doing for their archives, it probably consists mostly of, okay, I'm on this social platform now, and that's it.
Yeah. But Jeff, you bring up a good point. At least they are going out in a controlled fashion and with a bit of class, that they're giving you the option to download your, I don't know if they weren't tweets anymore. I guess they were pebbles. But that you can download that if your archive, if you want it, in a pretty reasonably easy fashion. So good job on that one, guys. Sorry it didn't work out.
Honestly, there were so many similar networks that popped up. 1, 2, or more of them going under was an inevitability.
I don't think so. This will be the last time we have this conversation, Ben.
Oh.
Yeah, this won't be the last.
No.
And it may help some of the others too that are smaller. Those users are going to want to maybe gravitate towards another smallish user base.
Or it might hurt them because people will be like, oh yeah, no point in investing my energy in a doomed enterprise.
It's true too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Glass half full, glass half empty.
But someone's got to clean it.
The other one I just want to make note of, I know we could do an hour on this one, is that X is going to start charging. This is a test thing, but they're going to start charging new users $1 a year to be able to post messages. If you already are on, it doesn't affect you. If you're not, I think it's New Zealand, and I forget what the other one is.
Philippines, I think.
Philippines.
Yeah, very, very limited locations. So this is allegedly a test, but and I think what would they call it, the no bot test or something like that. The idea is that you can't just create free X accounts and then blast things out via a bot. That dollar transaction will cut down on that. We'll see.
Ben, since you're a gaming pro, do you want to shoot that down, or should I?
You can go ahead, Jeff.
All right, we have several online game MMOs that tried doing the hey, you have to pay to be able to post comments, and what they all found is that making people pay did absolutely nothing to stop the bots.
Yeah, and the other thing here, you have with what are they calling it, X Plus these days, the subscription model. You can tell by the blue check marks, the vast majority of businesses did not want to pay. So you get rid, even with that dollar, I think you're going to see X's growth completely tail off if they then proceed to charge everybody $1. I think that's the end of the platform.
That's been said a lot.
We've heard that before.
Yeah.
Well, I'm especially interested in your thoughts, because you and I are the two who have not. I shouldn't speak for you. I have not written off Twitter.
I have not either.
Excuse me.
So
I wouldn't. What are your thoughts on this? Is this really just a good little test, and does it mean anything?
There's a phrase that sometimes you want to try to fail forward. So maybe there's trying this. I think one of the things we're trying to do is not keep good people out, but try to keep the bots or whatever, those negative influences, try to keep them out. I don't know. Let me answer it this way. Am I going to spend $1 on it? Not tomorrow. Does that mean that I never will? Yeah, we'll see. But right now I don't plan on doing it. But my social media skill set is so weak for both personal and professional reasons. I got to be careful in my world that I can't be making anything that can be construed as a forward-looking statement professionally, because that can get me in big trouble. And even though I might not mean it that way, if it's construed that way, I'm still in big trouble. But that's a whole different realm. The other thing is that I really just don't have the time, quite honestly. This is my joy of the week, to come in here and do this, so I don't have to do all my other business stuff throughout the week. So, it'll see where it goes. I don't know if I quite agree with Ben that if they put this system wide, it's going to kill the platform. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know if I quite go that far. Is it going to have an impact? Sure it will. I think they're trying to do lots of different things, and they're trying to see what sticks. There's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I don't think
the problem with that is that there's no they. It's Elon.
Yeah.
No, I don't buy that at all.
No.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Elon
You think someone other than Elon came up with this?
You think Elon's the only one who came up with this?
Yes.
You're naive. I'm sorry. That's not the way a CEO would work, and that's not the way he really works. Read the Isaacson book. I mean, he'll try lots of different things, but I think that there are also a lot of other really smart people that are around him too that are trying lots of different things to see where it goes.
I read Isaacson's Jobs book, and it was so full of stuff that I knew was wrong. I won't read any more of his books. So whatever he says in that book, I don't. I need another source.
We don't want to do a book review here, but I've read Isaacson's book, and if cut it by half, if 50% of what he says is accurate, then I think there's still a decent explanation for the way Musk thinks, and the way that he drives his teams to try to accomplish things. And so I think it's worth the read myself, but that's another discussion. But I'm with Webb. I don't think that this is just something like this. If it had been thrown out across the board, I'd have said, yeah, maybe so. But I don't think so.
So interesting. I would say at the bottom of that story, there was something about one of the things that was mentioned in that Isaacson biography was that Musk really wants, having that credit card and billing information of its users. And, this is just one of those ways, in addition to just, the getting rid of the bots or trying to curtail them a little bit. But, if you have your credit card billing information stored on there, it's a way that, they open it up to different services that, whether it's storefronts or whatever, that encourage more sales and more revenue.
I think that's a really good point, Brian.
Yeah. How many times have we said that about Apple? That, they have our credit card numbers. Mm-hmm. Not that they're going to misuse
Well, they gave us the credit card number.
Well, yeah,
that's true. We fought for a credit card number.
I think Brian nailed an important topic or point there. And I think getting the card information, financial information from users is very important for Elon. As this whole Twitter into X thing has been playing out, a lot of what's happening feels to me like Elon is going back to what he really wanted before the merger with PayPal happened, where he wanted a company called X that was an all-encompassing financial thing, and they were in the same building that the PayPal people were in, and realized, oh, we're kind of competing. These people have the thing that actually does something. let's merge with them, and then PayPal became a thing. But Elon never ever wanted to just have it be a PayPal thing. He always wanted to have the X company, and he wanted it to be the all-in-one financial thing for everyone. And it's like so many of the things that he's picking at and trying to do, it's like he's trying to morph a social media platform into this other thing that he wanted all along, but was denied.
Jeff, have you read the Isaacson book?
No,
Okay.
I have issues with Isaacson that there's no need for us to go into here.
Okay.
I can summarize my Isaacson thing by saying, if you want to violate Geneva Conventions, please make me read his books. I don't like his style.
I ask only for one reason, and that is that you just came to a conclusion that I came to after reading the book, that Musk has 2 or 3 major life objectives, if you will, and what you just described seems to be one of them. And so he seems to be circling, trying to figure out a way to do that through various channels, various means, various companies. Take it for what it's worth.
Yeah. I will say this, that might be his goal. But that goal requires large amounts of people being able to trust them. Over the last couple of years, he has done a lot of things to erode that trust with a lot of people, to the point where Apple might actually be able to fulfill that vision more than Musk can.
Maybe so, Ben. Maybe so. Ben, you were the one that kept throwing things in the Slack this afternoon that pushed all the other things down, but I want to throw this one in just to see what the group thinks. Pad and Quill is shutting down, the makers of fine leather accessories for tech, among other things. Any particular thoughts on this? The company CEO said they just face headwinds that are too strong, and so they're shutting the company down. Does this have anything to do with the fine woven?
No. No.
I wanted to see who would crack first. Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, I held out as long as I could, Chuck. All right, Chuck. Here's my my hypothesis on this. The high-end market for case accessories is not what it once was, and there are so many knockoffs that you can get now that, or not even knockoffs, but good products that you can get that are being sold at a lower price point, lower than Pin and Quill could actually sustain. That they were competed out of the market, which is sad because they make great stuff. I have a couple of things stashed around here right now. A really great laptop sleeve, and I think something else. But yeah, they do good stuff. Did good stuff.
Yeah, I have to agree with Jeff.
Well, there you go. Drop the mic. Let's end the show. It's been great being here, everyone. See you at the bar.
It is worth noting that they are having a pretty significant sale. So if you want to get in on it, go, because I don't know how long it'll last, meaning the supplies will last. But
a lot of stuff is already out of stock.
Has it? Okay. Yeah. I looked this afternoon. I mean, I was not in the market. And Jeff, I'm kind of with you. I've often looked at some of these high-end luxury goods for my iPhone and think, okay,
why?
My iPhone doesn't need a luxury good. It needs protection and it needs to be something functional. But
Dave gave me a clear case and a blue case that I've been using with my 13, and that was 2-3 years ago, Dave.
Yeah.
Still using them. Still great. Pretty much stuck on the clear one. And that's kind of the point. If you're buying an iPhone based on a particular color, why would you buy a case that's going to cover the color?
Exactly.
So just get one that protects it, and they're cheap as hell. And then, don't worry about it. If somebody else looks at it and says, "Oh, you don't have the leather case," you say, "Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Kiss my ass, okay?"
Your fine grain leather ass.
How do you really feel, guy?
Well, I just don't. It's the same kind of thing. You see things like the luxury Apple Watch bands, which I guess is probably more in line with that kind of luxury good. But they even have luxury. What do you call them? The
AirTags.
AirTags. They have luxury AirTag leather little thingies for them. It's like, just stop it. Who in their right mind is going to buy something that costs more than the thing that you're covering it with? Why?
Yeah.
And I said that with a whine.
Yeah.
At least on our tax bracket.
Yeah, maybe in Webb's tax bracket.
Not mine.
Eric, I see you down there. You're just dying to get into this.
Okay. There are two reasons. I'm not saying they're good. There are two reasons that I might or might not have used for getting a case that did not match the color of the phone. One is when you really want the phone, it's back ordered, you can't get any. You walk into an Apple store and they say, "Nope, we don't have any." But yeah, I guess we do. We have this one color that came in, and you say, "I don't care as long as the capacity and the size and whatever matches what I'm looking for. I will take. I don't care what the color is, but give me that case over there because that's the color I wanted. Slap it on, and then I'm good." The other one is, for a while, I was buying product red cases to slap on whatever color phone I had, because half the time I can't see the color anyway, so it didn't really matter. I can't see the product red color either, but I slapped the two together, and I was good with it. I didn't say it was a good reason, but I have to admit I have done it.
Well, I mean, there are iPhone cases and iPad cases and cases to fit every single device that Apple sells that sell for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And again, a lot of times either nearly equaling or exceeding the cost of the device itself. And it makes no sense. It's like you're buying bling to cover up the phone that you want people to be impressed by. Okay. Do that thing.
And the bling is slippery. So when you set it on the top of the car and then, it's a little damp or whatever, and you just it slides right off, shatters on the pavement, and you have a lot less bling on the case.
They don't take their cars out in the rain. That's why they live in California.
That's a car not moving. It's just tilted on a hill. It's
so, for a lot of people, the case they put on their phone, their laptop, the bag they carry all this stuff in, whatever. To them, it's the same as picking the color of phone you want, and that's what makes them super happy, and that's what they really like. And so maybe for them, the color of the phone isn't important, but the case that they're carrying it in, that's where they're getting the actual aesthetic pleasure. And yes, they will spend a lot more money on a cover than I would. And there's clearly a market for that, but it's not as big or as easy to be in as it once was. So now Patent Quill's going under.
I sometimes question the whole luxury goods market. And this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time of year because you'll get catalogs that I never requested, have never bought anything from, will never buy anything from. I'll flip one open and I'll see like a $500 rich Corinthian leather suitcase.
I thought you were going to say Dodge Monaco for a second.
Yeah, well,
carry on.
Yeah. And my first thought is I've never gone through an airport and ever heard anyone say, "Boy, look at that luggage. That luggage looks great. I need to get that luggage."
And then they take it out of the airport with all of your stuff in it.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't happen, next issue, next situation. And Ben, this one you brought up, and I really didn't see much else about this until you brought it up. And that is that according to the White House, Apple is going to be making a big right to repair announcement. Hello, Ben.
Maybe that's what Monday's event is all about. Scary, fast repairs.
Yeah, I think I saw an update on this. Let me see if I can find that. Supposed to be some kind of next generation.
Most people are not going to repair their own stuff, and it's ridiculous and why Apple fought this for as long as they did. I mean, basically, all they have to do is change the terms of the warranty to say, look, you take it to someone other than an authorized Apple reseller repair facility, you're on your own. If they fry the board, okay, we're willing to sell you a new one for $700-800, but that's on you. That's not on us. And they'd be well within their rights to do so. I mean, consumer rights don't trump negligence and purposeful destruction. You put your foot through a TV set, most stores aren't going to take that back. Sorry, your team lost, but it's kind of on you.
But I got the extended warranty.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's your size. Well, in my case, that's my size 16. That's right through the screen.
Yep. From what I can see, there was a White House event today. It was touted by an Apple executive here. Sorry, I'm trying to find his name again. Brian Nauman, the vice president of Apple Repair. It says Apple supports a uniform federal law that balances repairability with product integrity, data security, usability, and physical safety.
I think most people are better off still taking their device into an Apple repair facility and having it done there, or sending it in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where Apple probably figured it was better to go with the flow than try to fight this.
Yeah, because they don't get anything really out of it. And chances are when these devices either break or don't work as well as they did before, whoever it is that has it is going to be like, okay, I give up. I'm just going to buy a new one. And so win-win.
I mean, this is publicity.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are corners of the right to repair debate that it makes a significant difference to, like, for farm equipment, I know, and John Deere's been at the center of that part of it. But this one, I've always felt it was mainly because they don't want you poking around inside one of your devices and then calling them and running up their tech support costs to try to help you fix what you screwed up, when you could have taken it to an Apple store, gotten it fixed right, and it would have cost at the bottom line Apple less to do the repair, or charge you a little something or nothing, than to have to go through the hoops that are going to be associated with you doing it and them and fouling it up. So I don't know. We'll see. But see if we see anything else on this. Looking at the clock, I definitely wanted to get to this story because while it's not Apple related, I think it's kind of important or interesting that hackers cracked and stole the 23andMe user records. Does this bother anybody? I mean, has anybody here ever submitted their what's the right word? I guess their DNA material to 23andMe for analysis?
Yeah, I did.
How do you feel about it, Guy? Does it bother you that somebody might have your DNA now? The DNA information?
Well, or if they're going to grow a clone, yeah, I guess I'd be a little bit bothered by that. I think the world would be much more bothered by it. But in me personally, it's like, what are you going to do with that? What possible benefit is it to find out that I have a oh God damn it, what's the word? For whatever reason, I don't like mushrooms, but I do like extra pepperoni on my pizza. Who cares? There's really nothing that I think that is in the DNA records that is going to be financially good for anyone outside of maybe a huge pharmaceutical company. And how long would it take them to get busted for trying to manipulate that kind of data? What's it going to do? What are they going to do with it? These aren't credit card details. This isn't financial information. This is just ones and zeros in relationship to your genome.
I don't think it's important now, but the further we go into biometric data, it's something that could be identifying in the future.
Well, but what could they do with it? What could the average person that wants to buy this kind of crap, what could they do with it now? Again, it would take, big governments, it would take huge pharmaceutical companies, it would take all kinds of things that are all kinds of organizations that would get busted if they were obviously manipulating that kind of data. You can't just take, because DNA, it's not like DNA is like just this simple little thing that you can show on a calculator. This is like huge terabytes of data for each individual person. And it's almost impossible to separate that down into anything that's less than, okay, well, you have a certain amount of DNA that's from this part of the world or that part of the world. And if you throw all of those people together, they're kind of like this, but not really, because your great-great-grandmother was Azerbaijan or someone Jewish or what have you. And, where you go with that kind of information and how you can make it profitable. And really, that's what it comes down to. How do you make something like that profitable? I just can't see how it's going to make that much of a difference.
Well, maybe not today. Down the road, maybe it will. The big issue for me with this is that we are talking about biometric data. And that's a one-way path. Once it's out there, it's out there. Yeah. And you can't pull it back in. So today it's 23andMe. Next year, it might be another company. Maybe it'll be Amazon, because Amazon is doing the whole thing with using biometric data to authenticate purchases, or ticket sales at concert venues and stuff. And what if that biometric data ends up getting stolen? Well, now your handprint is no longer a viable authentication tool. And what if at some point its retinal scans get stolen? So yes, right now I'm talking what ifs, but these are very plausible scenarios. And
not retinal scans, not fingerprints, not paw prints, not nothing along those lines. It's such generalized data that's limited to a huge subset of people that it's worthless.
Yep, but the point is that it's showing the vulnerability of biometric data storage. And yes, today, the data that's stolen may not have much value. Maybe 10 years from now it will, who knows? But today it doesn't. But the fact that biometric data is being stored, and there's always the possibility of it being stolen. And once it's stolen, it's no longer a useful biometric data for authentication or potentially other uses that are happening today or that we don't know about yet.
And Is it even down to the individual person that submitted that DNA, or was that part of the information that was stolen?
Yes,
or do
information
we know?
about who the DNA belonged to was part of that. Like, the part of it was part of the data stolen related to high-profile people in the United States and in the EU, I think.
Oh, damn! Then they have me.
I know. And see, this is the real concern, Guy. They have you.
Yeah. Oh no.
Next time on Mac Voices, the 23andMe hack debate heats up and should give you some things to think about. I'm Chuck Joyner. I'll see you next time on Mac Voices. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.